Look his face.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
He's special.
You can like.
The guy is special. Everything that could possibly be special about this guy is special. A guy like this is the type of guy that you love to watch and follow. The most special guy that I've ever come across.
Hello and welcome back to the Pet McCoy Sports Show. Today we are joined by Cage Warriors lightweight champion George Hardwick. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just had a good session on Resident Evil 4. One of, if not the greatest games of all time.
Okay, and so obviously it's been about nearly 2 months since you won the title. How's Champ Life treating you?
It's just kind of stayed the same. Just keep momentum going, keep training. I had a little bit of a break because I was fight camp to fight camp to fight camp, and like just back to back to back. You know, even for the Medi fight that didn't happen in December, that was a hard fight camp.
Yeah,
so I've just been like back to back to back, and that was my first little kind of little blowout, little relax, let some injuries recover.
and obviously it was a competitive fight that ended in a beautiful fashion. Was the body shot something you planned in practice that you wanted to finish him with?
I've always liked the body shot. I've always liked going to the body. Maybe because coming from a Thai background, Muay Thai, so much of it is focused at the body. So much of it scores to the body. And it's something you can do. You can do it in training quite hard. You can hit someone with a body shot, maybe hit them in the abs, they go down, and they back up in like, whatever, 20 seconds, it's all right. You're not like dinging big shots into each other's heads. And another thing, just MMA gloves, it gets that like piercing effect, a bit more than a boxing glove.
And after the fight, after you got the finish, you were overcome with emotion. What went through your head when you got the finish and you were celebrating the win?
It's almost like I was celebrating before the fight finished. I could feel it building up as I'm putting shots in. And Mark Goddard's getting closer. I thought I would like play it as cool as a cucumber, but that was the longest fight ever in terms of preparation, because I started preparing for it in like October 2021.
Yeah,
and that didn't happen. And then I had another fight where I was scheduled for the title again, but then it didn't happen, and I fought at a catch weight to keep busy. And then I had a really long camp for Kyle, and I had a lot of doubts, you know, because he was from the biggest gym in the world, really. You know, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of self-doubts, but it didn't really matter. I just prepared, and then I did have a thought when I was running around the cage screaming, going, I heard myself, and I thought, I'm a bit like Takeo Mitsugaki here, when he won a decision on some prelim on a UFC fight night and just started crying and bawling out. Like,
yeah,
who cares?
And you mentioned you had some doubts. Is your mindset something you pride yourself on, that you can stay concentrated on the fight?
I think mindset can be overrated. I think it's like the action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like, some people go, your action follows your mindset. I'm like, your mindset follows your action.
Yeah.
I'm think more what you actually do is how your mindset follows, more than vice versa. Some people spend all day thinking about mindset, and get nothing done. Whereas I'd rather be the other way, get stuff done, and then your mindset follows on.
And training camp wise, in preparation, do you like to watch a lot of film?
I'm not a huge film watcher, because you can kind of build up a false sense of what's going to happen in your head. I've done that before. Like one of my amateur fights, I was fighting a jiu-jitsu guy, and like I spent 2 rounds trying to just keep it on the feet and stand with him. I got outboxed and outclinched. And then in the 3rd round, when I took him down, I won the round clearly. I thought I should have done that from round 2.
Yeah.
So you can't marry yourself to like a specific idea too heavily. It's like my brother Harry and my coaches will watch film more and integrate that into my training.
Yeah.
But I don't like to stew on it too much. I watch it to give me ideas, but I don't like study it over and over and over again, because it can get in your head too much.
And weight cut wise, is it a tough cut for you, or is it routine now?
Yeah, it's pretty routine. Like, it's not easy, but it was quite simple. The heat wave helped. Cutting weight in winter is always way harder.
Yeah.
It takes a bit longer to start sweating. It's always horrible being skinny and right close to fight weight when it's 0 degrees, and it takes ages to sweat. So the heat wave helped, because it made it easier. Also, my weight was coming down quite a bit. quite fast for that one. I don't know if it was because it was 5-round preparation. So instead of like sparring 3 rounds, I'd do 5. Instead of doing 3 rounds on the pads, I'd do 5. That extra amount of rounds, extra conditioning, just burnt off loads of extra calories. But I was pretty light. Like, I remember going to Next Generation Liverpool, training with their pro team about a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks before. I trained with Paddy and Adam Cullen, got really good rounds in there. And I'm checking my weight. I'm like, half a kilo off of what I do my final cut from. So I went to Casa Italia and I was finishing off everyone's plates. Everyone was ordering grande dishes, you know, like tortellinis and pennes and all that. I was like, people couldn't finish theirs, and I was finishing off everyone's plates like 2 weeks before the fight.
And for your next fight, I don't know, maybe you have a fight confirmed, but do you want it to be under the Cage Warriors banner and defend your belt?
Nothing confirmed as of yet. I'd either want title defense or UFC opportunity. Either one of them. Mainly, I want this competition schedule. I want one more fight before the end of the year.
And if it is Cage Warriors, do you have an opponent in mind that you could be facing?
I'm not sure at the minute. I thought Chris Bungard would be a good fight, but then I think he's got a fight announced.
And you mentioned the UFC. Since Leon won the title against Kamaru Usman, they've been talking about a London pay-per-view potentially in Wembley or even the O2 again. If you were going to make your UFC debut, would that be your choice of card to get on?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
I struggle to stay up to date with the MMA rumor sphere because I'm normally just, when I look on social media, it's telling me about like what deals I should get for Nintendo Switch games and stuff like that. But if that's there, I would want to fight in that, definitely.
Okay, and UFC opponent wise, do you have anyone in mind at all? Like you'd be like, oh, I could make my debut against him.
I think it would be good to fight the guy Figlak just fought would be good.
Yeah, Faris
That would be good. Yeah. In terms of that though, it's hard to say who in particular.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big division. It could be someone from Eastern Europe. I can't pronounce the name.
Yeah.
Could be someone from America. It's hard to say in particular.
You've grown yourself quite a TikTok following. How much do you enjoy TikTok?
I just like spamming it with random stuff. You can it's like built in a way where you can just shot stuff out there.
Yeah.
Different. Like if you did that the same way on Instagram, I think it would just annoy everyone.
Yeah.
But
sure.
yeah, and all these complicated algorithms I have no idea about. It kind of just gets pushed out there. It's the thing at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. And I have a thing on my show where I like to ask like quick fire questions. So they're like short answers, maybe not to do with fighting. Some are to do with fighting. Do you have a favorite movie? I don't know if you're a big movie guy.
Okay, so there's like favorite and most important. My joint favorite movies are Train to Busan, a Korean zombie flick, and Singing in the Rain. Those are like my joints in terms of just personal favorite.
Yeah.
Most important movie for me is John Wick 2, because I wasn't training at the time. I had a year and a half out, not doing any martial arts, and then it was John Wick 2 got me back into it because he was doing like sambo throws and arm bars and jiu-jitsu. I thought, it'd be cool to get back into a bit of jiu-jitsu, and I ended up fighting within 3 or 4 months of getting back into jiu-jitsu.
And
so that's the most important movie for me, John Wick 2.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite TV show? I don't know if you're a big Netflix, Amazon Prime kind of guy.
I don't know. I haven't watched TV in ages, to be honest. I'm more gaming and going on YouTube. I think on YouTube I like there's a guy called Ordinary Sausage. He makes sausages out of all sorts of stuff. Like he'll make a sausage purely out of wasabi.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And you mentioned video games. Do you have a favorite video game? I believe you mentioned it prior to the interview starting.
So my short list ever, there's like Resident Evil 4, Doom Eternal. That's really good. maybe Yakuza 5, Silent Hill 2. These are some of like the all-time best. Devil May Cry 3, Devil May Cry 5. They're some of the greatest ever. And God Hand. Not many people have heard of God Hand, but it's the most ridiculous, silly game. I bought it. It was a PS2 game, but I bought it on the PS3 for like £2 and put 400 hours into it. It's got the best melee combat of any video game I've ever played ever.
And what's your console or way of playing games of choice? Are you a PlayStation, Xbox, PC? What kind of console do you like to use?
Tend to do like PS4 and PS5 is like the main console. If there's a big release, I'll play it on that. Nintendo Switch is just easy because you can just pick it up whenever it goes. And it's not very powerful, but I've got a laptop where normally I'll just mod games on it. I haven't played that in a while though. Well, yeah, I like the Switch. I like all the indie games and stuff you can play on the Switch and just pick it up and play.
And do you have a favorite song? Could be your walkout song, could just be a song you like.
Well, it's hard to pick like a particular song because it's all dependent on mood.
Yeah, maybe an artist or an album.
Stuff that comes to my head is Everything's Ruined by Faith No More. I like Faith No More. Bury the Light, but that's from Devil May Cry 5. It's like a gaming song. Pretty much the whole Doom Eternal soundtrack. Yeah. Oh, Nickelback as well. Nickelback was like everyone hates them, and I thought, oh, I'll listen to them ironically, put some on to annoy people, and then I started to really like them, and like starting to learn all the words off by heart without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they're putting out new stuff. It's a good time to be alive.
Do you have a favorite fight of your own?
Of my personal fights, I like the last fight had everything in terms of being a war, getting the win, getting the finish, getting a belt at the end of it. But I still rank the fight, my only loss at pro, with Midas Flaminis really highly because I took that fight 2 or 3 weeks' notice. Fought some killer at welterweight where I wasn't really cutting weight. Had like a horrible 3-5 minute round war. And after the fight, it was just, I need to get back to training. That just kind of reaffirms where some people take a loss and they need months away from it. They're like, oh no, everything was just wrong. But I was like, I just had a curry and some tequila on the night. Not a good combination on the intestines. And then 9 o'clock on Monday morning, I thought, well, my hands were a bit stiff. I was wasting a lot of energy tensing up. I needed to throw more punches instead of just leg kick. So I was just working on that immediately by 9 o'clock on Monday morning. That's just a really good memory, even though it was a loss.
And when you're in training camp, when you're on your diet, is there a snack or food that you're allowed that you really love?
So I've got to say, the number one regional dish in the world, the number one dish is chicken parmesan. Yeah. So a parmesan, or Parmo, as it's called, chicken, breadcrumbed, fried, and then bechamel sauce on top of the chicken, cheese on top of the bechamel, and then it's grilled, so it's all melted. It's like big and thick like a pizza, but instead of thinking like a pizza base, it's chicken, and you have that with garlic sauce. That's the number one dish. Number one dish for me.
And you eat that when you're training before a fight?
If weight's good, yeah. I think I had one 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the last fight.
And when you're not on diet, what's your go-to dish? Is it a Parmo as well?
Yeah, Parmo. Because, people were asking me about get this man a pizza, and the pizza thing kind of became a little mini meme for a bit. But this is what I say. A pizza is a side dish. A pizza is for boys and a Parmo is for men.
Yeah.
You need that meaty, fried, garlic sauce goodness. I'll have if I'm having a Parmo with someone, we both have our Parmos, and we'll just get a pizza for the middle. A pizza is like a side dish to the mighty Parmo.
So would you say when you're not in camp, you go along the Paddy Pimblett kind of diet, or do you like to keep yourself thin?
I've not gotten as far, but I've gotten big. When I had a Burra Pizza and Kebab House, or Burra Kebab House, whatever it was called, I had like a full large mixed kebab box, bit of Parmo, garlic bread. I finished off my mate's London pizza because he couldn't finish it. And after that, I was like 90 kilos. What's that, like 195?
Yeah.
I've been like 195 up towards 200, but like only momentarily when I'm full of salt and full of everything. There's just holding on every drop of fluid. But I like a little blowout. I think it's hard to be at your fight weight all year round. I
Yeah.
think sometimes you can accumulate injuries a lot of time. I think whilst you're out of camp and you're getting a lot of volume, you're building muscle like out of camp. It's easier to do that with a bit of cushion. You're getting loads of rounds, not at the same intensity, but you are getting loads of rounds just to explore stuff, develop new techniques. When you've got a bit of cushion on you, I think it protects the joints just a little bit. And psychologically, it's just a different feel where maybe you're a bit heavier, and then towards the fight, you've shredded down, you feel faster, and you feel more ready. I think, yeah, there's a bit of it's like a mix. Maybe it protects your joints outside of camp, not being skinny all the time. And then there's that psychological shift as you bring your weight down. You see yourself getting leaner. You're like, fucking fight ready.
And to close out, is there anything you'd like to shout out? Maybe your social medias, a sponsor, some family members. What would you like to shout out?
Middlesbrough Fight Academy. It's a part of BJJ Unit 29 Fitness. Like best gyms and training at. Sponsors JMax Scaffolding, Bespoke Financial, Teesside Waste Clearance Services. Oh man, that's the issue. It's like when you say a few, it's hard to remember them all. Parmo was in the post, but it's like the last week. Rest in peace.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, George.
Thank you.